Hey and welcome, I'm Hammeh, and today we're going to be taking a look at the lore and backstory behind the new Blizzard skins that are going to be introduced to Overwatch in 2018. Announced at BlizzCon 2017, the first crossover skins will be coming featuring character looks from Blizzard's other universes, StarCraft, Warcraft and Diablo. Immortal Orisa, Nova Widowmaker, Magni Torbjorn, Blackhand Doomfist, Barbarian Zarya and Butcher Roadhog all look awesome, but for you folks new to Blizzard games with Overwatch, you might have no clue where these skins come from and what characters they're based on. Never fear, in this video I'll quickly introduce you to the universes these skins come from, whiz you through the lore and backstories behind the skins and their characters, and anything about similarities between our Overwatch heroes and these characters their skins are based on, and timecodes in the description below if you want to skip to a particular hero. Okay, first up, Nova Widowmaker. Now, aside Sarah Kerrigan, Nova Terra is probably one of the most well-known ghosts and indeed characters of the StarCraft universe. Now, StarCraft is set around 450 years in the future, 60,000 light years from Earth, where human colonists, or the Terrans, fight for their survival amongst the stars in the Koprulu sector, initially led by the Terran Confederacy. Born into one of the Terran Confederacy's rich and powerful old families, November led a privileged childhood while her father tried to hide her psychic abilities, fearing she'd be recruited into the Confederacy's Ghost program. Now, Ghosts are feared Terran covert operatives known for their skill, psionic powers and ability to cloak. At a time of increasing rebellion and unrest against the Confederate government, a rebellion on the capital world of Tarsonis led to Nova walking in on her family being killed by rebels. She, in her anger, unleashed a telepathic wave that destroyed not only big parts of her family's skyscraper, all of her would-be attackers and hundreds of others in the collateral damage. This display didn't fail to attract attention, after being enslaved by and then escaping from a violent crime boss with the help of a now Terran Dominion recruiting agent. Nova aced her ghost training for the Dominion in 2.5 years instead of the usual 4, and getting the memory wipe afterwards that she so craved at the time to forget her painful memories. This was part of the Terran Dominion's way of controlling its ghost agents. Now, Nova's story continues throughout the events of StarCraft 1, 2, she's had her own books, comics, her own covert operations mission pack, and she served a variety of heads of the Terran Dominion as well as her own purposes. She was meant to have her own console game in the cancelled StarCraft Ghost of the early 2000s that was going to be on Xbox and PlayStation 2. Now a vigilante with her own crew, Nova is so heavily storied I could do a 15-minute video on her alone. Maybe I'll do a Heroes of the Storm lore, voice lines and interactions video with her, as she is in Heroes of the Storm too. As for similarities to Widowmaker, well, they're both very well known for their sniping ability, they're both from kind of noble families, and they both have a history of being brainwashed. Feels pretty close to me. While we're in the StarCraft universe, let's talk about Immortal Orisa. Now, there are 3 races fighting in StarCraft: the human Terrans, the insectoid xenomorphic Zerg, and the Protoss. They're a humanoid race with advanced technology complemented by a psionic or psychic mastery as well. Now, the Protoss at points in StarCraft are bound by something called the Kala, a psychic philosophy where they maintain a communal psionic psychic link between all people who practice it. This helps them control psychic abilities, preserve the memories of their species, communicate in a mental link hive mind style way, and a bunch more. The Kala, their technology, their psychic abilities and physical prowess make them very dangerous warriors. Introduced into the StarCraft universe as a force initially trying to stop the Zerg from devastating the sector, Orisa as an immortal is actually descended from a StarCraft Protoss unit called the Dragoon. Crippled Protoss warriors could volunteer if they chose to continue their service by transplanting their shattered bodies into Dragoon exoskeletons. Dragoon pilots were generally grievously wounded veteran fighters. Some of the most revered warriors would have been placed in them. By the time of the events of the Great War of StarCraft 1, or StarCraft Remastered as it is now, the core of a Dragoon was a fluid container that the pilot was submerged within. The pilot's mind would interface directly with the machine through connectors by using the Kala. The end result was that pilots controlled the exoskeleton as an extension of their body, but once inside the core, the pilot would have to remain there for the rest of their life. As a major event of the Great War, the Zerg invaded the Protoss homeworld of Aya. As a huge amount of the Protoss population was slain and forced to abandon their home planet, the shrine that this process took place at and the practice was seemingly lost. Remaining Dragoons that escaped the aftermath were now known as Immortals. They were refitted with more powerful phase disruptor weapons and hardened energy shields, with microscopic machines helping preserve their bodies, repairing their tissue, and keeping them safe. Immortals are some of the most advanced hardware ever devised by the Protoss. Giving critical support to Protoss armies, they eliminate enemy artillery and ranged attackers. However, these ancient warriors are a dying breed, willing to sacrifice everything for their people. Soon, few or none will remain. Orisa actually has a few similarities, as well as the Walker shape. The OR-14 Edina line of Omnics that were built in Nigeria before the Omnic Crisis were corrupted and used when the Omnic Crisis happened. Then the OR-15 was brought back in a different form to defend Numbani before Doomfist destroyed those and the program was scrapped. Now of course Ife Oladele has brought back one of those in Orisa, reprogrammed her, improved her and tried to get her to defend Numbani. So in being an immortal, Orisa 2 is a fallen warrior brought back in a new body. I find that really cool. Now to the Warcraft universe with Blackhand Doomfist. Now the orcs in the Warcraft universe originated from their own home planet, a world called Draenor. Blackhand was the chieftain of the mighty Blackrock clan and the first war chief of the Old Horde. These would invade the world of Azeroth, the place where World of Warcraft and chunks of the Warcraft strategy games are set, through the Dark Portal. Blackhand was known throughout Draenor and Azeroth as a brutal tyrant, but also a master tactician with brilliant battle strategy, one who maintained rigorous order within his armies, and also having somewhat of a dark charisma. He was eventually killed by his second-in-command Orgrim Doomhammer near the end of the First War, in a Mak'gora, or Duel of Honour for leadership. In the alternate universe proposed by a World of Warcraft expansion, Warlords of Draenor, the Blackrock chieftain had his hand enveloped by lava and his fist encased in stone by the Furies when he tried to retrieve the famed weapon Doomhammer. And this is the visual version of Blackhand that Doomfist's skin is representing. Now, I'm no World of Warcraft lore expert, but Blackhand's design and lore have changed and been retconned significantly a few times since his first introduction in Warcraft 1 and 2 many years ago. He's also got a new look in the Warcraft movie recently, which seems to be the canon one for now. So, charismatic villain, master tactician, pretty intelligent, does have a few parallels to Doomfist. While we're still in the world of Warcraft, we can cover Magni Torb. Now, Magni Bronzebeard, who Torbjorn's skin is based on, was the king of the dwarven kingdom of Khazad-dûm, thane of the capital city Ironforge, and head of the Bronzebeard clan of dwarves. During the Second War, which covers the game Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness, and maybe a little bit of Beyond the Dark Portal as well, Magni defended Ironforge from the Orcs and joined what would be known as the Alliance of Lordaeron. Magni was a noted craftsman. He forged the famed sword Ashbringer, wielded by noted paladin and, if you know from Hearthstone, Tyrion Fordring, and then paladin players in World of Warcraft, hoping that it would avenge his brother Muradin, who is believed to have been killed by Arthas Menethil, a man who would eventually become another incarnation of the Lich King. In the events of the World of Warcraft expansion Cataclysm, Magni was actually turned to diamonds during a ritual in the heart of Old Ironforge, sacrificing himself to save his city and his kingdom from the events of the Shattering. After years spent immobilised in Diamond, Magni has returned as the Speaker. He has become attuned to the world soul of the Titan Azeroth itself, and now works with the world's heroes to combat the return of the Burning Legion, who, long story short, are a vast innumerable army of demons, infernals and corrupted races who seek to destroy any trace of order in the universe. So Torbjorn in his Magni skin, as well as looking a little bit dwarven, dare we say it, is a pre-diamond form of Magni, and also a craftsman himself. From Warcraft we go to the Diablo universe with Barbarian Zarya. Now Zarya as a barbarian needs a little history of the world to show where she fits in. The Diablo universe is set against the backdrop of the great conflict between the High Heavens and the Burning Hells for control of, well, existence. A key focal point of this conflict was the World Stone, a colossal mountain-sized object of immense power, a foundation of all places and times in a nexus of realities. Long story short, whichever side controlled the stone could alter reality and create life and worlds with barely any restriction. As the conflict dragged on, a number of angels and demons grew tired of this, gained access to the World Stone and used its power to conceal it. Subsequently, the World Stone was shifted into its own pocket dimension, and a world was shaped around it, called Sanctuary. When this world was young, some people were apparently given a sacred charge to protect that which lay in the heart of Mount Ariat, where the World Stone was contained. These people were part of a group called the Children of Bul-Kathos. For the barbarians, the protection of the World Stone was the cornerstone of their culture, and they were quick to thwart any incursions into their lands, developing a reputation for savagery in the kingdoms to their south. For ages, the barbarians were shaped to be strong and as unyielding as stone. Huge in size and unmatched in their ferocity, they were charged from birth with a duty to protect the sacred mountain. When the World Stone was finally destroyed by the Archangel Tyrael in the events of Diablo 2, the barbarians' homeland was shattered, and many of them lost faith. With their homeland left a smouldering crater and demonic corruption infesting the area, the barbarians became aimless, travelling from place to place without honour or direction. And Sonia, the barbarian of Heroes of the Storm, could be said to be one of these wanderers. Some still honour the harsh snows of Ariat's summit, and whether they stick to their homelands or travel the world, they recall being handed axes and spears at an age when city children were clinging to toys. Burning with shame at the failure of their people, they strive to find a new purpose in a changed world, and they will crush any who stand in their way. Zarya, skinned as a barbarian and styled like Sonya, is another mighty warrior in this tradition clearly. Last but not least, Butcher Roadhog. Now, Butchers are a type of demon that exist within the burning hells themselves. They were once under the command of the Lord of Terra, Diablo himself. Butchers are stitched together from the parts of other demons to combine their strengths and then given life through dark magic. As such, Butchers see all living and unliving things as mere parts, and some even bolt plates of burning iron to their flesh for protection. Now, this specific Butcher's skin for Roadhog is based on a sadistic being that relished in the pain of others, to the extent that it would damage its own hands as it fought, and it hunted endlessly for fresh meat. The Butcher in question appeared twice over 20 years in Kandurus, the western kingdom of Sanctuary, in the original Diablo and Diablo 3. Wounds that the Butcher inflicts are left festering with disease that even healers found almost impossible to treat. As for Roadhog and the Butcher similarities, well, they're both quite large-framed, shall we say, but also the Butcher in Diablo 3 has a hook weapon that pulls characters towards him, so fits pretty well with Roadhog. If you like this vid, do subscribe, let me know your favourite in the comments. What other skins would you like to see from different Blizzard properties for different Overwatch characters? Do let me know your thoughts in the comments, and for more Overwatch lore, skin lore, interactions, voice lines and things to do with the Overwatch universe in general, please do check out my playlist linked here. Cheers for tuning in, I've been Hammeh, take it easy.